Hey, everybody. Um, so yesterday I had a conversation with my biological brother. We talk just about every day, and we talk about a variety of things. And to be honest, a lot of the ideas I have for videos I get from him. So just wanted to give him credit. I don't want to be accused of plagiarism or anything like that. But in many ways, he's more hardcore than I am, and he's fed up with a lot of things lately, and I totally understand why. But we had a conversation yesterday that just really rocked me to the core. And I wanted to talk with you about that today. And really, the basic question that I want to explore here is how in the world have we all become such massive sissies? Yeah, and I'm not exempting myself from this, and I think you'll see what I mean in a minute. But actually, I had started thinking about this earlier in the day because I was watching John Harris's most recent video yesterday, where he starts off talking about the Vodi Bakum alleged plagiarism scandal. Which, by the way, like I haven't read Vodi's book yet. I'm going to be reading it. But if what John said the plagiarism scandal is actually what it is, my goodness gracious. I just can't even believe how stupid people can be. But anyway, not Voti, by the way. But anyway, in the beginning of that episode, he also talked about the lockdowns that are probably coming this fall and all of that kind of thing. And he started talking about how he wonders how many of the pastors who, after the coast was clear, he said, of the first lockdown, said, "Well, I will never close my church again. The fire is burning within me." And he wonders how many of those guys are actually going to lock down again, because it's really easy to be brave and to say you're going to be brave when nothing's happening. But once you're in the fight, it's a lot harder. Peter Schiff often talks about this, where people often say, "Oh man, I hope the price of Bitcoin goes down." And it doesn't just have to be Bitcoin; it can be anything. It can be gold, silver, a stock, whatever. Because I want to buy it. I want to back the truck up. Beep beep. And it's real easy to talk big and bad when that's happening. But when Bitcoin has crashed by 50%, I wonder how many of those people who said that they would buy the dip actually will when things look terrifying like that. Some definitely will, but probably a lot won't. And I think that's often how it works. It's easy to talk big and bad when you're not risking anything, but when you are, it's all of a sudden it's a different ball game. So here's the thing, guys. Like, we really need to face the fact, and again, I'm not exempting myself from this, that we are some of the most docile, passive, just sort of do whatever you want, kind of, to me, kind of people that exist. And I think it's worth exploring why that is and how we can correct that. Let's just think about an example for a moment. Like in our country, we talk about abortion on this channel all the time, right? And in our country, babies are literally slaughtered. No problem. It doesn't even matter if you have a good reason for it. Maybe you just don't feel like having a baby that day. You know what I mean? And you just go to the clinic. You can get the abortion. It's totally fine. Babies are killed every day in this country, and like our big fight, like the smartest idea that we've come up with, like the most aggressive amongst us, like and guys, don't hear me disparaging the people that go to these clinics and talk to the women, but let's just face the reality that that's like the most aggressive amongst us. The best idea we've come up with is to go to the place where they slaughter the babies and then just say, "Hey, please, lady, would you please consider not slaughtering your baby?" And it's like, that's the most aggressive amongst us. And those people, it's a small minority of people who do that kind of thing. And those people have to spend half their time fighting off attacks from the rest of us saying, "Well, that's not the way that you should do this. Like, that's not, you should, if you're going to go," which you probably shouldn't even go, but if you're going to go, just sit quietly and just think to yourself and pray and pray. And that's all you can do is just pray to God. Just sit there and just pray to God. That's the only thing that's appropriate, if that's even appropriate. Look, guys, praying to God is absolutely required. It's absolutely effective. We should definitely do that. that. But there's lots of other stuff we can do as well. By the way, a lot of these guys will go to the clinic and preach the gospel. That is, if I'm not disparaging going to the clinic and preaching the gospel, right? I'm not at all disparaging that. But I do want you to understand, when you take a step back from all of this kind of stuff, the best idea, the most aggressive amongst us are not doing really much that's all that aggressive. You see what I'm trying to say? Do you remember when Rusty Thomas and those guys, I think Joseph Spurgeon was there as well, and all of that, they went to that one clinic, I think in Kentucky or something like that, and they just decided to sit down in front of it. They said, okay, well, how about just no abortions today? We're just going to go, and we're going to sit there, nobody can get in, and all that. And then a bunch of them got arrested, and even the most aggressive amongst us were saying that wasn't the right thing to do. Nope, Rusty, you can't do that. You can't. That's not appropriate. And it's like, yeah, but don't you realize you do realize there's babies being slaughtered here. What are you talking about? That's not appropriate. Like I just and I was one of those voices, by the way, that was saying, look, I'm not exempting myself. I was one of those voices that was like, yeah, I don't know, man, that like more power to Rusty. I love that guy. I love Joseph, but I'm just not so sure if that's the right. What the hell was I talking about? And I do mean hell. What was I talking about? That's not appropriate. Sure, maybe it's not strategically the best move, but appropriate? Like there's kids being killed there. And so we're arguing about if it's appropriate to go there and preach and ask women to not kill their babies. Like, that's really how docile and passive we've become. I just think it's worth examining how much of a sissy it takes to be like, you shouldn't go there and preach and yell at the women. It's like, are you freaking out of your mind? And so I think it's worth exploring how the hell this has happened. How have we become so docile, so passive, that's our big argument? Like, why aren't we fighting off people that aren't like saying, no, we actually have to stop them from killing the babies, like actually stop them? Because that's actually what the Bible says, right? Like, we should actually stop them from being slaughtered. So we're not really fighting anybody off that's promoting that. What we're doing is we're fighting off people that all they're doing is preaching there. I mean, my goodness, can you think of anything that would be more appropriate than to preach at the abortion clinic? But most of us are like, no, I don't know about that, dude. I don't know if that's appropriate, man. Like, I wouldn't do it that way. That's not Christ-like. So what has happened? That's the question. How have we come to this? And guys, I think that we're reaching sort of a point where there will be no place to hide anymore. My brother had mentioned that one of the things that got him thinking about this, how docile we've become, is a lot of normal people that would not normally even consider a conspiracy theory. They're starting to wake up to some of this stuff. It's like, he had a conversation with some family members that were like, yeah, man, like, I've always thought the anti-vaxxers were crazy, and I normally wouldn't even be suspicious at all, but like the way that this vaccine situation has been going down, it's like, I'm not getting it. There's no way I'm getting it. Like, I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious of the motives. I'm suspicious of the origins of COVID. I'm suspicious of the numbers of COVID. I'm suspicious of the fact that, probably COVID is literally just the flu. Like these people are not conspiracy people, but they're like, this whole shenanigans with the vaccine mandates and how it really doesn't work and how they're covering up the side effects and stuff. Like it's got them thinking that, there's something going on here, right? My wife is not given to any kind of conspiracy at all. You know what I mean? We have conversations about some of the stuff that I believe, and she's respectful. She's not disrespectful, but very skeptical of some of the stuff that I believe, right? But yesterday, I'm just gonna put this out there. Like, my wife comes to me and she says, "What's the deal with this four officers from the Capitol insurrection have committed suicide?" Like, she who's not given to this in any way. I'm serious, guys. I'm not trying to disparage her because, look, I understand people, they're not sure about some of the conspiracy stuff. I get it. I don't feel like I don't need to be validated in some of the things I believe in order to believe them, right? But the point is that she's not given to this, and she came to me about what in the world is this? They're offing them. Are you weeks really expected to believe that they're offing themselves? Guys, those officers were killed. That's the reality. They were killed. 4 of them that were in the insurrection. They were defending. But that's not even what this is about. This is about my reaction and your reaction. Like we are so docile and passive that it's like, what has happened to us? Because, I see this is what happens, right? We see the 4th police officer get killed by who knows, shadowy figures. And our reaction is, well, maybe we'll meme about it. Maybe I'll make a stupid video about it. Maybe we'll re-gab, we'll repost a gab or retweet or whatever, if you're even allowed to tweet anymore. And it's like, that's our idea. Our idea is we'll make a meme about it, right? And I'm not disparaging memes. I like memes, right? Memes can be effective. But what my point is, that's where it ends, though. That, you see what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I guess I posted a meme about it. I mean, what else can I do? I guess I'll have Domino's tonight. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And you just got to wonder, like, what has happened to us, man? Like, our balls have all fallen off. Like, all of our balls have fallen off. And there's just so few of us that do anything about this. And I'm not exempting myself here. I'm asking, I'm wondering, how has this happened? My brother says, I wonder if is it just the propaganda that we've been fed since we were kids? Like, is it just that we've been beaten down so much by the propaganda that we just, like, we don't even know what to do? It's like, oh yeah, I'll gab about it, and I'll make a stupid video, and that's the fight, mount up, Patriots. It's like that's essentially where we're at. Is it just the propaganda that we've had since I'm almost 40 years old? I've had propaganda for 40 years. So is this the effect that I just receive anything that I'm told to receive? I just don't get it. And I'm talking as one that I feel like I'm slightly more awake to some of the nonsense. Like, I know they're propagandizing me, but is that enough to counterbalance it? I just don't know. I just don't know. My brother also, considered, what if it's a combination of propaganda and, like, chemicals, right? Like, because we've always known that they put chemicals in the water. We understand that. We don't really know why they do it. They say it's for, like, your teeth or some stupid nonsense like that, but obviously it isn't. And then of course, we also know that there's chemicals and weird stuff in some of the food that we eat and stuff like. Yet we still eat it. I guess I'll have Domino's tonight. All that kind of stuff. And then, of course, there's a lot of suspicion out there about what they're dumping on our stupid heads every single freaking day. It's like, is it a mixture of chemicals that just makes us docile, and also the propaganda? Is that the mix? Like, so what is it? I mean, what has happened to us that we can see 4 Capitol police officers get offed in a highly suspicious insurrection coup, in a highly suspicious election, in highly suspicious circumstances of almost every kind, and we're just like, well, I'll meme about it. Yeah, I'll just write a meme. And then some of us are even worse. Well, I'll share the meme. They didn't even write the meme. They didn't even have the wherewithal to actually create it. I'll just share it. Yeah, just gotta share the message, man. Gotta get it out there. Guys, I'm not trying to beat you up, because I'm in the same boat. I'm in that same boat. I mean, it's just hard to fathom what to do about it, guys. It really is, because this fall we're gonna have half our churches closed down again. You know what I mean? And there's vaccine mandates. My wife is not against the COVID vaccine. Okay, let me just say that for a second. She's not against it. She's not really for it, but she's not against it. But even she's like, what the heck is this vaccine mandate to go to the store, to go to the restaurant, the entertainment? Who do these people think they are? And it's like, yeah, exactly. Who do these people think they are? Well, here's who they think they are. They think they're our leaders, our lords, and they think that we are passive, docile, and will literally let them do whatever they want to us, and they're right. Up until now, they've been right. And so it's like, I'm at a bit of a loss, guys, because even the most aggressive amongst us are not that aggressive. It's just time to face it. Like those people, like I love the Apologia guys. I absolutely love what they do. They put the end abortion now stuff out there, and I'm not telling them to stop doing that. They should still do that. But that is our most aggressive idea, is to do what they're doing with end abortion now, and then the majority of us will just watch those videos and be like, yeah, man, totally owned them, man, totally epic. It's like, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Docile, passive, will just accept anything they want to do to us. It doesn't matter. The Olympics are on, man. I gotta go watch those young girls in the leotards do their little dances. Like, it's just like totally awesome, man. It's just amazing. Simone Biles, man. Absolutely. But here's the reality, guys. Like. There are ways out of this, and we need to figure out how to overcome this docile, passive nature that we all, for some reason, collectively have. And I'm not saying every individual has this, but as a collective, we're docile, we're passive, and we'll let them do literally anything they want to us. Now, I'm not talking about some kind of collective hive mind where it's like a spiritual thing. That's not what I'm talking about. But there is sort of this herd mentality that we have, like the stock market, for example, right? The stock market's a perfect example. Like, oftentimes when people are selling, everybody's selling. Oftentimes when people are buying, everybody's buying. You know what I mean? Right now, there's massive inflation. All the data points to it. The official data points to it. The unofficial real data points to much higher inflation. So inflation is a fact, but nobody's in the inflation trade right now. When I say nobody, I don't obviously mean nobody. Some people are in on the inflation trade. I am in on the inflation trade, all that stuff. So I'm not saying literally everybody, but the markets in general they're not doing the inflation trade right now. But there will come a time when all of a sudden everybody's doing the inflation trade. And it's like, so we need to consider, like, what is it going to take for that critical mass to be reached for everyone to sort of wake up and find their balls and start doing something about all of this insanity that we see all over the place ever since, it's been going on for a few years now, right? So that's really the point here. I don't really know what the answer is. Right? I don't really know what the answer is. I know a lot of what the tools are, for sure. I think sports are a tool that is used to pacify people. I think porn is a tool that is used to pacify people. And you might be like, well, I don't watch porn anymore. Yeah, me either, right? I don't watch porn anymore. But there was a time in my life, before I came to Christ, before I met my wife, that I consumed so much porn that it's just unbelievable and embarrassing. And it's like, are we really that stupid to think that doesn't still have an effect on us? I've seen the studies. You've seen the studies. You know what I mean? Like, that still has an effect on you. It's like, so is it chemicals? Is it the kind of stuff that they give us? Stuff like that. And I think it's probably everything. But we need to have a way to recognize that our balls have fallen off. Even the most aggressive amongst us, our balls have pretty much fallen off, and we need to figure out a way to mitigate that, because there's no excuses, guys. Like, there's no, like, we're not going to be able to, like, when God asks us what we did in our lives, like, we're not going to be able to be like, well, like, you don't understand, God, they were dumping stuff in our heads. Yeah, I was breathing in like these heavy metals and stuff, and I was drinking fluoride. And it's like, so I couldn't do anything. Like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Here's a passage that I looked up, because when I was talking to my brother, I looked this up afterwards, because I knew it had something to do with what we were talking about, right? Because, like, we all see this totalitarian regime growing. We all see the evils of this regime growing, and we're all recognizing it, but we're not really doing anything about it. And so I looked up Proverbs 24, I believe it's 11. Yes, here it is. Deliver those who are drawn toward death and hold back those stumbling to the slaughter. So it's just saying, like, guys, rescue people that are being led to death, right? Rescue people that are doing things that are going to lead, they're stumbling to the slaughter, right? So the drunk who's going to kill himself by drinking, or the coke addict, or the person who's addicted to shopping, or they're going to destroy themselves. So rescue them, guys. Stop them from doing what they're doing. That's a command in the scripture. This is a proverb, of course, but this is a command in the scripture. And I had remembered that from abortion ministry because I understand what a lot of what the people that do abortion ministry say. I've street preached myself, so I know this verse, right? But I had forgotten the second part of this verse, and the second part is actually way more relevant to our situation today, especially those of you, if you're starting to wake up to some of this stuff and you're like, well, I thought this was all conspiracy theory, but literally it's all true. Like if that's you, like, okay, so now you got to listen to the second part of this verse, right? So here's what I read. I read, deliver those who are drawn toward death and hold back those stumbling to the slaughter. And here's the second part. Listen, these are the words of God. It says, if you say, surely we did not know this, does not he who weighs the heart consider it? He who keeps your soul, does he not know it? And he will not render to each man, and will he not render to each man according to his deeds? God will not be fooled by you saying, well, I didn't know. I didn't know it was happening. He knows you do know. You know exactly what is happening in this country, and you're not doing jack about it. And neither am I. I'm making videos. That's what I'm doing. Guys, I'm not saying everyone needs to be on the front lines here because there's different roles for different people in the bodies, right? There's different roles for different people in the bodies. But what I am saying is that those of us who are on the front lines and who are doing some of the heavy lifting, who are actually acting and stuff like that, I think you should push the issue. I think you should press forward and start and upping your game, getting more aggressive than you are right now. And those of you who are sitting on the sidelines like a scoffing idiot, being like, yeah, it's not Christ-like, man. It's just like, that's not appropriate. Like, shut your mouths. How about that, for one? And then consider, how is it that you have no more testicles? What has happened to you that made your testicles fall off and find them again? That's my suggestion. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.